You're listening to Inklings of Insight.
So I've got a new book summary for you. The book that we're going to be talking about is called Widen the Window. It's by Elizabeth A. Stanley, and she's a PhD. This book is about how to thrive during stress and recover from trauma. So some of you might be thinking stress and trauma are different, right? Trauma might be something like being held at gunpoint or maybe going through an experience like sexual harassment, whereas stress might be something like getting an angry email from your boss. But the book is making the point that both of those things, stress and trauma, happen on the same spectrum. It's really just about the degree of stress that you're feeling. So again, this book is about how to manage stress and how to manage trauma. And it talks about your stress response system and how it is designed to mobilize a lot of energy, and it speeds up your heart rate and it slows down your digestion and increases your oxygen. All these things are done to allow you to focus on the particular threat at hand. So the important thing to understand is that after such activation takes place, your body needs to respond to it. And your body needs to respond to it, and also recovery is part of that response. The thing is, a lot of people don't actually spend enough time during the recovery phase, and sometimes they end up being stressed out all the time, chronic stress. So when the body is unable to repair itself or recover, and it's constantly feeling like it's under stress, the body goes into something that's called dysregulation. This is something that happens to both your body and your brain. So the important thing about dysregulation is that dysregulation causes you to perform ineffectively. It affects your cognitive performance, and it causes things like sleep deprivation, PTSD, chronic pain, memory impairment. Your analytic skills drop, and your moral judgment is thrown out of whack. The book, again, is entitled Widening the Window. So what is the window? So the window, everybody has this window, which when it comes to stress, the window is the amount of stress that you can take and still perform optimally or still perform well. The problem is when you impede your recovery, you're not allowing your body to recover and your brain to recover, and that narrows the window. So this content was a little bit more complex than a lot of stuff that I've covered in the past. It actually took me a while. I actually went a step further and decided I was going to read the book because I think this content is so important. We don't need to avoid stress, so to speak. Stress is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a necessary thing in order for us to grow, in order for us to develop, in order for us to reach our goals. But in order for you to do all of that effectively, you want to be able to manage your stress properly. And that's what this is all about. Widening the window. In order for you to widen the window, which again is about increasing the amount of stress that you can take on and perform effectively while you're dealing with that stress. And in order to do that, you have to be able to recover. And I'm not going to go into the details on how you can go about widening the window, but I highly recommend this book summary. And furthermore, just like me, I suggest that you go ahead and actually read the book. You have to buy it. You can also go to a library or borrow it, the ebook version of it from your local library. But I find it extraordinarily fascinating that you can actually increase your ability to take on stress and increase your ability to perform effectively under that stress. I think it complements everything that we've been talking about when we're talking about growth, personal development, and achieving all these things that are going to help you live a balanced and fulfilled life, because we all are under pressures and constraints in our life, one of those being time. It can be very stressful for you to try to get the most out of a 24-hour day. This book is telling you how you can maximally perform under those circumstances. So, with that being said, I just want to highlight the fact that it's not abnormal for you to be stressed. But the reality is, if you're not managing that stress properly, like this slide says, something as simple as spilling a cup of coffee can cause a nervous breakdown. So we need to be very intentional. We can be very ambitious and high-minded when it comes to what we want to accomplish, but we are humans. We have limits. And this is one way that we can help manage and mitigate those limits that we have and still become the best versions of ourselves. So I wish you guys the best success as usual, and I'll see you next time.